Hello everybody. I'm going to get a special video right now. I already did my video, but it's about 3:30 in the afternoon, Thursday. Last few days I've been with a lot of the guys, had a good time. Two of my friends just left just now. It's funny, I've been working with Jimmy, and he runs into people on the bus. Hey, he texted me, John, I ran into one of our old guys that you were doing the meetings with, Steven. Ain't that cool? I told him we're starting to do the meetings. John's doing them at my new place, and took Jimmy around today. There's a couple of food banks. He's got his apartment. He's getting on his feet, and it was good. And we've seen Pops and Bear, and whenever we get together, no matter what history these guys have, it's all, you know, Jesus said you're the salt of the earth. I noticed I don't have to bring up God, or they know, well, John's here, he does ministry. So their experiences on their own, they will bring them up. But I didn't plan on, that's regular, I didn't plan on making a video. But one of the new guys, I'm not going to give the name. And he's also one of the guys that's I had never met before, but we know a lot of the same people, and he's got a good story. He's clean now. He's been staying under, some of the guys that are homeless, and they were under the overpass right down the street. I told him, you know, I live right where some of you, but now they got places to stay. But I was so mad, so raging, because I said, well, I helped them out today. The goal is for them to get off the street, to try to get, you know, jobs and things, and so we're working on all that. And he sees I live here, where some of his other, you know, friends, people he knew, and off the cuff, it was hard for me to not, you know, he says, oh man, one time I was here, John, and many years ago, and on their own they're bringing these things. Some cops following me and pulling me over, and I was not doing nothing illegal. He got clean. And then the cop waited for him. And when the cop seen him at the Stripes right here, beat the shit out of him. He said that he was pounding on me. He didn't even know it was a cop. He said it was public, open, beat the shit out of him. Well, when he went back to the house, which is here, where I live, which he was with some relative, that's why this story came up in this neighborhood. He said, he was beat up. It was obvious he didn't even know it was a cop. It's the same cop I wrote about. Same cop. You'd think I make these things up. And he said, you know, they had to report it because they beat the shit out of him. Public, open. And they'd sent him down to Internal Affairs. And he's afraid. They said, are you going to press charges? Open, public, beat the shit out of him, followed him. He said, well, I can't. They'll get me. They warned me. They said, well, if you ain't going to press charges, we ain't doing nothing. The next morning, that cop was sitting in front of his house. And the commander of that unit, I don't know how many years ago this was, how many stories I've heard. And the guy that was in charge, he knew. We had trouble with this guy, he does it all the time. They came and personally saw how beat up he was. It's one of my friends, you've seen in pictures, I'm not giving his name. New guy. Said, he doesn't know I'm deal with this. But I told him, he said, you wouldn't believe all this illegal stuff. Many, many other things I can't say. You wouldn't believe how illegal what they're involved. I said, I know. I said, I've been writing these things. I said, I send this shit off to the Attorney General of the United States. All this happened just now, 10 minutes ago. I said, I know all this. And the commander at that time, whoever it was in charge of that unit, knew. And they came out and said, we will promise he will never do it again to you. He'll never mess with you. You know, all these issues. I don't want to deal with this anymore. You see me posting these things. Many of you have no experience with that. So when you see me post Sandra Bland and all this, and you think, well, and I show you how some of them just, that innocent girl, that cop turned the car around, tailed her, she was scared, and she pulled over, and it was her he was after. Wound up in her death. The guys just left. But I just had to sit there with my mouth shut because I've heard it so many times. And I told him, I said, I'd write that. I said, I'd give him the names, I'd videotape, I'd do this thing right there at the cop station. All the other things, these guys tell me, this new guy doesn't know I deal with any of this. So that's how they dealt with it. It was open, public, beat the shit out of him, followed him, parked the next morning at his house. In front. Told him, oh, I caught the guy that kicked your ass. We made sure he left. They let him know. Don't you ever report us again for any illegal activity. And this friend is clean now. I've been helping him. He's a new guy. I rage when I hear these over and over again. You in charge of the PD. Just the fact that that's happened so many times. You don't need, these guys were afraid to, he's, on his own he's telling me, I couldn't press charges. They'll get me. That's the history. I said, I've publicly been talking about this for 2 years. I said, I've sent letters to the Attorney General of the United States, everybody else. So you get this little extra video. I didn't ask about it. How many times this has come up? And I'm not even mentioning all the other stuff. So these guys are going to try to make changes, try to get clean, try making it. So when you see me post those things on abuse and all, don't ever think that that's not these cops should have been fired and put in prison after multiple cases of that. Not only assault and battery, beating the shit out of people in public, and then parking in front. This guy parked, the same cop parked in front of his house. Next morning, got up, let him know. Besides all the other stuff he's told me the last few days, not knowing I deal with any of this, I told him today, I deal with all this. I said, I've been writing on this. So what did we have? We had a judge shot the other night. I read it in the paper. Now I'm not sure. It might have been a domestic thing. We had another bank robbery, another thing. Say, how come there's crime? You get your house in order. If your house is not in order like that, you got guys on the job. When they saw my friend, this new friend, when the commander of that unit, guy in charge of that particular officer said, he knew, they apologized. Oh, he'll never get you again like that, we promise. He'll never get you again. You should have that guy should have been in prison for that. Parking inside of his house. Next day, letting him know. That's why people get shot and killed and murdered, and they reported to you, oh, that woman that was killed here 6 months ago, she said that someone's going to kill me. He killed her that night. So there's nothing we could do. Why couldn't you park in front of her house? Because you're too busy covering up shit. Illegal activity, that's why. I'm almost raging right now. Right here he sat, my friends. Told him, well, you can come to the house for a little while, guys. So that's it. You heard it. You saw it again. I could have had them talk, tell it. They're afraid. These guys are afraid. Involved with past lives, but they're afraid because they know. That's what you get from today. Talk to you next week.